Happy day 2 of Spookathon. I have read 2 chapters of Stranger Diaries so far this morning, and so I started off with chapter 8 and it ended off kind of weird, had me a little bit confused. It's Halloween and all the students have left school, and Claire, our heroine, takes it upon herself to go upstairs where R.M. Holland, who's the writer whose house it was once upon a time, and now the school is there. She goes up to the attic where his study and stuff was, and it's basically left the way that he left it. And she's walking upstairs, it's quiet. She opens the door and he's sitting at his desk, and then we get like a brief vignette almost of, I don't know if it's him writing a story or him telling a story, and then it has swapped to female officer who is investigating Ella, Claire's friend's murder. We get her perspective, and I like her, but then I don't like her. I think she intentionally tries to come off unlikable, but I also appreciate how much she pays attention to detail. She's very keen on detail. She pays attention to the way that people word things and how quickly some of the members of the staff have begun talking about Ella in the past tense. That one little part just kind of threw me off. I wasn't really expecting that. I don't know what value it's adding to the story. Claire she was revisiting some of her journals to kind of see what was going on during this vacation that her and Ella took. I think it was for a school conference or something, but the police officers asked her what happened during this time because they were like searching through her Facebook and stuff, and she's like, I don't remember. It was cool, it was chill, we went for work. And so she was like revisiting her journals, and that's when she sees that someone else had written into her journals. I guess she was trying to do some investigations to figure out where that would have come from. So I'm a little bit further into Stranger Diaries, and I'm really liking the part that I'm at right now. So at first I did roll my eyes a little bit. We're getting the female cop's perspective, and we have been reliving some of the scenes that we've already read before, but I think that the author did a good job and had reasons behind doing this, because now that we're reading from the perspective of someone investigating this murder and having to sit down and have these conversations with the staff and the people that worked with her, you're really able to see the stories. When they talk to Claire and when they've talked to the other teachers, I really got the vibes of like, they're lying. I mean, it's obvious with Claire that she is not necessarily lying, but she's definitely keeping stuff from them. But now that you're in that role of someone trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together, you're really able to see the holes in the story. And I'm just like, especially reading from Claire's perspective, it's just like, why are you leaving stuff out of the stories? No reading has been done in about the last 2 hours. I did listen obviously to the audiobook on the way to the bookstore, and then on the way home. Going to the bookstore was a bust. Last night I checked to see if the book that I wanted was going to be in the stores, and it looked like it was, and then I drive all the way over there and they don't have it. It's the new Jenny Hale. She has a new holiday romance that's coming out. I love her. I did do a question and answer with her that will be out, I believe it should be out next week, because one of her books is being adapted into a Hallmark film, and we're gonna put my question and answer out there the week of her premiere. So I'm excited. I love seeing romance novels being adapted to film, and this is her second, so I'm really excited. I mean, I know other creators understand where I'm coming from, but it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work, especially when you have, I think, multiple platforms too. I mean, filming and editing alone takes a long time. It takes me forever, it feels like, to get these videos edited. But then too, just having the channel, my blog, which I'm sleeping on. I am doing Blogtober and I need to get posts typed up for that. But then also writing for Frolic, it's just like figuring out the balance of like what ideas are going where. There's been days where I've sat back and I'm like, dang, I did Bookish related stuff all day but didn't read anything. The part of the book that I'm at now, I feel like is kind of, I don't want to say a filler, because I don't really read a lot of mysteries. I read cozy mysteries, but I don't read them all the time, so I don't want to speak like I know what to expect. The person that the cops are zoning in on, I understand like you have to question everybody. Don't dismiss a lead, but this one just seems kind of stupid. I got some book mail. I got a book yesterday and one. So the one that I got yesterday is His to Defend by Rena Morgan. I've never read anything by this author, but a friend told me that if I enjoy Nalini Singh, which is another author I have not read that I will enjoy this book. So I'm really excited. Nailina Singh is an author that I've been very, very interested in reading, and I'm on hold through the library for a couple of her books. And then today from Kensington, I got Penny for Your Secrets by Anna Lee Huber. I love this cover. It definitely gives me Maisie Dobbs vibes, and it is a mystery. Okay, last update for day 2 of Spookathon. Have I finished either one of the books that I've been reading? No. But the more that I read them, I do feel like they are books that you don't necessarily want to rush through. Stranger Diaries, I read a little bit more. We are currently reading from the perspective of Georgie, which is the daughter of the main character, Clara. And I find it interesting that we're following Georgie because the police are following this lead of, could it possibly be a student that murdered Ella? And there was one student in particular who, for a laugh, sent her a Valentine's card the year prior or whatever. So they're like zoning in on him. So I think it's interesting that we're getting Georgie's perspective because it just makes more sense. She interacts with this guy, being so she's a high school student at the high school as well. And yeah, so obviously we've been reading from Clara, her mom, and she has her motherly views of Georgie, but now that we're in Georgie's mind, we're getting to learn what she's really doing when she's in her room and the door is closed and her mom thinks she's playing on the phone all of the time. And I really think that she's an interesting character because she also really loves to write and she loves to read, and there's just so much more to her than what we get when we're reading from her mom. So I'm really loving that. And then, oh my gosh, I've been reading Monster, She Wrote, and it is just so good. It's so fascinating. I went into it knowing I would enjoy it, but I did not expect to love it as much as I'm loving it. Really enjoying this. So yeah, it's 2 days down. I have not finished a book, but I am enjoying both of my picks a lot. And I mean, tomorrow's Wednesday. I still have the rest of the week. I feel like my other picks I can make through pretty quickly, especially my cozy mystery. I'm really not too excited about picking up The Lost History of Dreams. However, that book is mentioned a lot. I did an author interview with author Hester Fox, who wrote The Widow of Pale Harbor and The Witch of Willow Hall, and she recommended it. And I've seen it in the back of a few books, like recommended by authors as well, as like a book that you must read. So I kind of feel like I should pick that up. And then my Susanna Kiersey, I just want to get that one checked off the list because it's the last book by her that I need to read. And then I will be able to say I've read everything by her except for the 2 novels that are impossible to track down. But again, I just know her books tend to start off really slow and I don't want to like lose the momentum that I'm currently in. We will see. We have Spookathon and we are kicking it off. We're going to therapy. I haven't even posted day 2's vlog yet because we had no power last night from about 10 o'clock until about 5 minutes ago. Had a really good therapy session today. I think what hit home the most was just, we were talking about different areas of my life where I could do things with more intention and ask myself, is how this is going to make me feel going to be worth it? Like asking myself, is it going to be worth it before I do things? And it'll just help me be more mindful of things. There's definitely a lot of areas in my life where I could put this to practice, but it's going to be tough because there's just so many things that I've become accustomed to doing, like waking up and scrolling through the internet before getting up and actually doing anything productive. I'm about to go to the base library really quick to see if my new ID card will allow me to continue to use the library because I actually prefer the base library over the city library. Okay, today's simple joy moment in life is coming to the library and doing pretty good. I got 3 ARCs, 3 books that I checked out, and I checked out a DVD. I got Julie and Julia, My Year of Cooking Dangerously by Julie Powell. I love the movie and I've really been wanting to read the book. The Daughters of Temperance Hobbs by Catherine Howe. I've only read one Catherine Howe book, but I hear that she writes really wonderful witch stories. I believe she is actually the descendant of one of the witches killed during the Salem witch trials. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I checked out my first Sherilyn Kenyon. This is At Death's Door, which is part of her Dead Man's Cross series. I hope that I'm not too confused. Sherilyn Kenyon is one of those authors that I've really been wanting to read, but every time I go to the bookstore, it's always a book that's part of a series, but it's like 10th in the series, and I'm finally just going for it. So I hope I'm not totally confused having not read anything else in the series. The movie that I checked out is Buffy. I've checked this out before and my daughter loved it, and I've been promising to check it out again. A Long Petal of the Sea by Isabel Allende. She's another author that I've really been wanting to read. Then I got When You Ask Me Where I'm Going by Jasmine Kaur, and I guess this is for fans of Rupi Kaur and Elizabeth Acevedo. The Gravity of Us by Phil Stamper, and a few bookmarks here that are falling out. And this comes out in February 2020. I finished Stranger Diaries. I haven't rated it yet. I'm still torn between, is it a 4-star read or is it a 5-star read? But I really, really loved it. I don't want to get into it too much here because I'm just going to use my review as Blogtober content for my blog, but it was really good. I find it interesting that I'm reading this, which has tons of titles and references to old Gothic writing, at the same time as I'm reading Monster, She Wrote, which is talking about Gothic horror writers, women horror writers from back in the day. And it was cool to see what we're talking about in Monster, She Wrote, and actually seeing a modern day horror writer put some of that to use and seeing the different techniques that she uses. I think that my favorite part of the book was just how it kind of captures the importance of reading and writing. There's so many book titles mentioned in there, and not just in a thrown in there kind of way. Like, they made sense to the way that the story was being told at the time. I was reading an article recently, and it was just like that genre of horror kind of died out because so many of the storylines started to sound the same. It became very repetitive. So I'm secretly hoping that they make a resurgence, and reading stuff like this makes me feel like that can happen. I know Bethany, she is enjoying Monster, She Wrote. We're reading this together, and it is really good, you guys. It's so good. If you are interested in just women writers, don't even worry about the horror or speculative fiction part. I highly recommend it. It's so easy and so accessible, and I'm listening to the audiobook too. Audible had it for $14, so I was like, I will gladly take that. That's way cheaper than typical hardback new releases are. It's also kind of snarky and sarcastic. It's nonfiction that doesn't take itself too seriously, which I enjoy. I feel like women, we're so used to being treated a certain way that we just have to be sarcastic and a little snarky at times. I'm gonna end the vlog here. Really happy with this. Going to make my way through some more of this, and I think I'm gonna pick up my cozy mystery next. We will see. I'm kind of in the mood for something fun, but I will let you guys know tomorrow what I decide to pick up. Let me know how your reading is going. I hope all is well. I will see you in my next video. Bye.